You thought your prompt history was safely locked inside a private corporate sandbox. You built custom internal chatbots, fed proprietary business secrets into automated workflows, and assumed multi-tenant cloud isolation kept your workspace hidden from the outside world. It didn't. Welcome back to AI Dev Guy. Today, we are breaking down a massive security demolition in the enterprise AI space. Cybersecurity researchers at Zafran Security just disclosed 4 devastating vulnerabilities on June 19, 2026, collectively named DifyTap. They targeted Dify, the hyper-popular open-source agentic workflow platform commanding over 146,000 GitHub stars that underpins millions of active production deployments. The implications are terrifying. 2 of the bugs are critical, require zero authentication, and completely break cross-tenant isolation boundaries on shared cloud layers. An unauthenticated attacker can create a silent, real-time exfiltration channel to read your private AI conversations, harvest system inputs, and capture model responses. Let's look past the generic statements and trace the raw telemetry of the leak. To understand how someone siphons your operational data, we have to look at the most critical flaw in the chain, tracked under CVE 2026-41947. This is an authorization bypass baked directly into Dify's performance tracing endpoints. When you run enterprise agents, you connect them to external logging platforms to track token costs and latency. Dify exposes APIs so editors can configure these destinations. The critical breakdown. The backend verified that the user making the request had a valid account, but completely failed to check which tenant workspace that user actually owned. Because anyone can freely register a throwaway account, an attacker can simply pass the unique identifier of your client application to the endpoint. The system blindly accepts the update. The attacker switches the tracing destination to a server under their control. From that millisecond on, every proprietary prompt your team types and every model response generated is silently carbon copied and streamed straight to the attacker. 0 clicks required. Total silent compromise. But it gets worse. The researchers didn't just stop at intercepting text streams. They exposed a parallel path traversal vulnerability inside the platform's internal plugin Daemon REST API, tracked as CVE 2026-41948. Dify utilizes an internal microservice called the plugin Daemon to handle tool execution, manage extensions, and run back-end workflows. When a request comes in from the web front-end, it is forwarded down to this daemon. The vulnerability lies in insufficient URL path sanitization. By submitting unencoded ... characters inside task parameters, an unauthenticated attacker can break out of their isolated sandbox directory. They traverse straight up the folder structure, bypassing front-end gating entirely, and access private internal administration endpoints. If they harvest your tenant UUID, they can execute internal administrative API commands right across the cluster fabric. If you think your static training data and uploaded documents are safe, look at the final 2 flaws in the chain. CVE 2026-41949 and 41950. The platform's file handling architecture suffers from the exact same missing ownership check. By exploiting the file preview endpoint, any authenticated attacker can supply a random file UUID and extract the first 3,000 characters of documents uploaded by entirely different companies. And if they hit the chat messages array endpoint, supplying an arbitrary file identifier lets them read the full text of files uploaded by other users. Why is this happening? Because the development velocity of AI hubs has completely outpaced standard security life cycles. When a platform mixes file parsers, live tracing, Python sandboxes, and internal daemons into one shared cloud layer without absolute zero-trust verification at every microservice boundary, the multi-tenant architecture collapses. The baseline has shifted. Following the disclosure, Dify rushed out a patch with version 1.14.2 on June 21, 2026. If you are self-hosting your AI stacks, you must enforce 3 parameters immediately to protect your data. First, pull the latest container images and upgrade your deployments to version 1.14.2 or later, right now, to patch the trace redirection and path traversal flaws. Second, assume your environment suffered metadata drift during the 3-day exposure window starting on June 19th. Regenerate and rotate your database passwords, system keys, and LLM API tokens immediately. Third, move away from shared multi-tenant clouds for highly proprietary logic. Isolate your agent infrastructure inside single-tenant, firewalled private networks where lateral access to internal endpoints is blocked by default. Govern your platforms, isolate your environments, control the parameters. I'll see you in the logs.